Wednesday to October 20th, 2021, I was waiting on the Lord and decided to shut out the word and just focus on God. And so I put my phone on silence. Meanwhile, Reverend Sam had prayed seriously against death that day and mentioned something about a woman not weeping over her child. So my phone was on silence, but at some point I noticed my aunt in Nigeria, in Abuja, was calling me persistently. But I didn't pick, but rather took the phone far away from me. When I eventually finished my waiting, I decided to call back. What I heard was so amazing. I was told that my 14-year-old son living with my aunt in Abuja was complaining of headaches in school and he had to put his head on the desk to rest. Thereafter, the classmates tried to wake him up for the next class, but he didn't wake up. He had gone unconscious. They started pinching him, hitting him, even much harder, but he didn't respond. So they called the attention of the class teacher, the principal, and others. Water was poured on him, but he still didn't respond, even though he was still breathing. At that point, they became worried and sent for my aunt to come pick him to the hospital. My aunt was very far off at that point. She called the house and sent her younger sister and the house help to the school to check what was happening. When they got to the school, they met him still unconscious. They carried him head and foot to the car. They took him home, awaiting my aunt who was on her way. He was carried to the bed and yet was unconscious. She was then alarmed and asked them to call an Uber to rush him to the hospital while she meets them up at the Federal Staff Clinic. Surprisingly, this boy was unconscious for such a long time, from school till this point. On arrival at the hospital, they made to carry him again head and foot, and then suddenly he woke up and was asking what was happening. According to him, he has been sleeping, not knowing he had been unconscious for hours. He said he thought he was sleeping and dreaming. He also said he saw himself floating in a tunnel and banging his head on some hard surfaces as he was floating along. The doctor said he must have gone into shock, and so he needed to check with CT scan. I was worried because on the maternal side, at least one son from each household had a brain issue. They are usually not born like that, but somewhere along the line it just happens, either cerebral palsy, stroke, or something that deforms them for life. But I had told the devil that my case and that of my children is different. To the glory of God, Jehovah Rapha, the result came out and all is well. And they told him to only treat for malaria. I am so happy that I didn't pick the phone at that time. I could have died 1,000 deaths, but I was just enjoying the presence of God while God was fighting my battles. To God be the glory, who has covenanted that there shall be no loss in the name of Jesus. Many have died in their sleep in this manner, but God has spared me deep sorrow of heart that the enemy intended for me. Indeed, with our God, with our Jehovah Ergoma, all things are possible. God bless you, Pastor Reverend Sam, for your labor of love. What if you didn't call us to pray that day? And what if you didn't hear God to deal with the issue of death that particular day? I just want to say thank you. This is Omeyoma from Canada. Thank you so much.